Donald Trump posted, based on conversations with Prime Minister Sharif and Field Marshal Munir of Pakistan, and wherein they requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran, and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz, I agree to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. He didn't say triple-sided. The reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives and are very far along with a definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East.
So if we've met or exceeded our objectives, what are we doing?
We're still, yeah. It's like, why were you still trying to do stuff if we already hit all the objectives?
Yeah.
We're happy about our official position is that we're happy that there's a ceasefire that's trying to happen right now. That's the official position.
The market's happy about it.
The market's very happy about it, yeah. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all of the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the United States and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated.
Who's going to consummate it?
I think that's never mind. On behalf of the United States of America, as president, and also representing the countries of the Middle East, it is an honor to have this long-term problem close to resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Okay.
That's so interesting. Now, I want to point out, someone in the group pointed this out, Foyer, I'll give you credit there, that Pakistan, if you guys didn't know, is a nuclear power. So it's interesting. Allegedly, they kind of stepped in through various.
We'll show you why we said allegedly, why we keep saying allegedly here in a minute.
Potential X accounts and other things. But that's interesting to know. It's interesting to note that we've not only achieved our military objectives, but we've exceeded them. Yet we're still working something out. I don't know. That's very interesting. And then to your point, Nate, that they received Iran's plan, 10-point plan, which is a good basis from which to negotiate. But that we got that plan 2 weeks ago. But yeah, Trump's just now announcing it now. So anyway, everything's under control.
It's all on.
That's what you need to know from this. Everything is under control. Donald Trump has got you. He's got you, bro.
And you know, I think this is yet another one of those signs that you have to take that, like, Trump doesn't want this war to keep going. I don't think Trump wants an Iraq or whatever, or a Vietnam or anything. I never have thought that Trump wanted that. We have worried that it would turn into that you would be forced into it becoming one of those things. I don't think Trump wants that. He knows that this is not popular in the U.S., and I think he's looking for a way out. And we've mentioned many times, many people have, that it might come to a point where he just declares victory and says that we're done with the whole thing and that we should do our best to let him, not that he needs our permission, but to let him do that, because that's how important this is. It's more important than us dunking on the administration, as we're going to continue doing throughout the rest of this episode, but it's more important than us trying to dunk on the administration, because this war is very serious and has very serious long-term ramifications for the entire world. So, if you're serious about,
we didn't want to go to war to begin with, so the faster it can end, it doesn't matter how it gets done.
Yeah. Another post here on Truth Social. Trump says, a big day for world peace. Iran wants it to happen. They've had enough. Likewise, so is everyone else. The United States of America will be helping with the traffic buildup in the Strait of Hormuz. There will be lots of positive action. Big money will be made. Iran can start the reconstruction process. We'll be loading up with supplies of all kinds and just hanging around.
In quotes.
In order to make sure that everything goes well. I feel confident that it will, just like we are experiencing in the U.S. This could be the golden age of the Middle East. President Donald J. Trump. A little bit of a broken window fallacy happening here. It was so much reconstruction is going to happen. A lot of money is going to be made in rebuilding all this stuff, The stuff was already there, and any money that would be spent rebuilding that stuff could have been spent on building more productive capacity than there was to begin with. But hey...
And so, some new people are going to make money. Don't Doesn't matter what the old people lost.
There will, in fact, be money made on the reconstruction process. That is true. Another post from Trump says the United States will work closely with Iran, which we have determined has gone through what will be a very productive regime change. There will be no enrichment of uranium, and the United States will, working with Iran, dig up and remove all of the deeply buried B-2 bombers' nuclear dust. It is now and has been under very exacting satellite surveillance. Space Force! Nothing has been touched from the date of the attack. We are and will be talking tariff and sanctions relief with Iran. Many of the 15 points have already been agreed to. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
15 points.
Now there's 15. Oh. He's sneaking it. They're going to add some points.
10 plus 5
and
points.
Some of the points are, we don't like your guys' points. And so some of our points are that we're not going to do your points that you guys had up there. Caroline Levitt said, this is a victory for the United States that President Trump and our incredible military made happen from the very beginning of Operation Epstein Fury. President Trump estimated this would be a 4 to 6 week operation. Thanks to the unbelievable capabilities of our warriors, we have achieved and exceeded our core military objectives in 38 days. More on that tomorrow morning from Pete Hegseth. What were the military objectives? Like, if we were to go back and look at all the posts and news clips and everything from just before this war began and right when the war began, what of those objectives have been achieved other than Khamenei being killed?
We killed like 15 Ayatollah leaders, I guess.
We killed a lot of leaders, a lot of people in Iran. So I guess let's say that's an objective. They hit that objective.
We got them to
anything else?
Did we get them to agree to not enrich uranium anymore and allow us to come sweep up the dust?
No, we haven't actually agreed to that. No.
Oh. I feel like that would be like the objective, like number one objective.
Seems like that would be a pretty big objective, even though I want everyone just keep this in your mind once again. We had the nuclear sites that we bombed under satellite surveillance. Space Force! That's what it says there on the post, just so you guys know. And that none of it has been touched since we attacked them back in June. So the nuclear material that they said they were so close to making a bomb from, no one had messed with. According to the president's multiple statements, no one had even gone back and gotten the enriched uranium. They were not restarting the enrichment. None of that was happening, according to the president multiple times now. Keep that in your mind as a response to some people. Here's a little bit from Pete Hegseth. Let's see what he had to say.
We'll be hanging around. We're not going anywhere. We're going to make sure Iran complies with this ceasefire and then ultimately comes to the table and makes a deal. So we'll stay put, stay ready, stay vigilant. As the chairman laid out, our troops are prepared to defend, prepared to go on offense, prepared to restart at a moment's notice with whatever target package would be needed in order to ensure that Iran complies. As far as the Strait, you saw the initial agreement that was struck, which is Iran's letting ships go through. So there'll be that will be happening. They will be sailing. And ultimately, as the president, I mean, we've done an incredible job militarily inside the Strait of Hormuz. What Admiral Cooper, I failed to mention Admiral Cooper's name. He's done a phenomenal job along with everybody at AFCENT and NAVCENT and ARCENT and all the components down there, laying the groundwork for.
How many cents we got, man?
You sent, I sent, we all sent. All right, so there's him. The Iranian Supreme National Security Council has a different take on the matter, and so they say the enemy has suffered an undeniable, historic, and crushing defeat in its dishonorable, illegal, and criminal war against the Iranian nation. By the grace of the pure and sacred blood of the martyred leader of the Islamic Revolution, His Eminence Grand Ayatollah Khamenei, peace be upon him, the measures of the supreme leader of the Islamic Revolution and Commander-in-Chief, His Eminence, all the words don't matter, the jihad and valor of the fighters of Islam on the fronts and above all the historic, enduring, and epic presence of you, the dear nation, from the very first days of the war. Iran has achieved a great victory and forced criminal America to accept its own Iran's 10-point plan, in which America has, in principle, committed to guaranteeing non-aggression, continued Iranian control over the Strait of Hormuz, acceptance of enrichment, removal of all primary and secondary sanctions, termination of all UN Security Council and Board of Governors resolutions, payment of reparations to Iran, withdrawal of U.S. combat forces from the region, and cessation of the war on all fronts, including against the heroic Islamic resistance of Lebanon. We congratulate all the people of Iran on this victory and emphasize that until the details of this victory are finalized, steadfastness and prudence from officials and the preservation of unity and solidarity among the Iranian people remain essential. And I won't read the rest of it because it just goes on like that. Okay.
That sounds interesting.
It's like a somewhat different tone. It's like a little different tone.
Now, look, I get leaders obviously have to report back to their people that they're winning. But it seems like this 10-point plan is a little bit different than the 10-point plan that you would assume would be the United States objectives.
Yeah, you see, we also have a plan for a ceasefire and end to the war, and they've literally just repeatedly said they're not going to accept that. We're going to keep doing the war. They sent over their plan for an end to the war, and that has ended up being the basis for right now, currently, what is being portrayed as a victory for the United States.
And Iran is victory for them.
Yeah. The thing with Pakistan, we kept saying Pakistan allegedly, so it was like Pakistan sort of being the go-between here, and they're the ones who like proposed this 2-week ceasefire and brought this whole thing to the table. It is just interesting that X shows your edit history, and the first post from Pakistan's prime minister kept the top line, which was called draft Pakistan's prime minister message on X. And there's really only one way you can take that, which is that
an intern messed up.
An intern for not Pakistan's government is the answer to that. No one in Pakistan's government calls Pakistan's prime minister Pakistan's prime minister when they're addressing the prime minister or writing a draft post for their prime minister, for the prime minister, for Prime Minister Sharif. They don't put at the top of it, draft for Pakistan's prime minister at the top of it. No, this draft came from the United States of America. Okay.
Now, where is this account? We have location of the accounts now, right? Does it show that it's from Pakistan?
This is the prime minister that posted it. It was sent.
Oh, you're saying that?
No, it was sent to him by our government to post as if they were mediating this thing. Dang it.
And he accidentally
they didn't take the top line out. Okay. They didn't take the top line out.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
So we, instead of saying, okay, we accept Iran's 10-point plan they sent 2 weeks ago. I don't want to do the whole civilization ending thing tonight. That's too much. Let's do a 2-week ceasefire. They sent it to a third party in order to look like they were acting as a mediator between the two countries, even though it was us who sent it to them and actually created the ceasefire, which is great. I love the ceasefire. I'm glad that we're ceasefiring. I'm glad that they did this, but that is what they did. Okay.
So you're saying that was the White House or the CIA or someone drafted a message on X for the prime minister of Pakistan, sent it to them, and he accidentally, or one of his staff accidentally posted it with the draft still left in there. Yeah, yes. That makes total sense.
That's what actually happened.
Wow.
Mark Levin says...
No one else is talking about that.
The only people I've seen mention that are the people at Dropsite News, which is a great resource on the Middle East war stuff. I don't like that Dropsite is like clearly and literally Soros backed, but they are also funded by many of their subscribers and stuff. They've been a great source of news for this stuff. Okay, Mark Levin says these 10 points are an absolute disaster. Here is once again the Here are once again the 10 points.
That includes 10 separate points. Some of them include the U.S. guaranteeing a non-aggression pact with Iran, continuing Iran's control over the Strait of Hormuz, acceptance that Iran can enrich uranium for its nuclear program, removal of all primary sanctions on Iran, removal of secondary sanctions, an end of all UN Security Council resolutions against Iran, an end to the IAEA's resolutions on Iran's nuclear program, compensation payment for Iran and its war damage, withdrawal of U.S. forces from the region, and a ceasefire on all fronts. Those are a number of points that are not going to be reached, and the next 2 weeks are going to be critical as negotiators try to hammer this out.
That is accurate.
Mark Levin can't be happy about this.
No. I want this ceasefire to hold, but it is the case. It is the case that those points, most of them. Well, first off, if they were agreed to, I'd be like, well, okay. I guess Trump really does want us to just not be involved in the Middle East whatsoever. And that was just the whole plan. He planned on getting us into a war with Iran where we ended up having to back down and give them control over the Strait of Hormuz and withdraw our troops from the region and all that. And wow, I'll say that. I'll record that, put it out.
So then we get all the troops out, yeah. No,
it says withdrawal of troops from the region. Define region. Pretty sure Saudi Arabia is pretty close,
Oh, so you're saying this is like million D chess.
So many D chess. It's a different chess game. It's not like you're planning on all of this. You're actually already over here planning the next game.
He made it to where no president can go to the war in the Middle East forever.
Yes.
That was his.
That is true.
That was his plan.
Okay, we got a few more things here from the news. Let's see. I've got a few clips from the news here. This is from Fox and Friends.
But I will say that the president's demands, we have not reached any of those objectives. I have full confidence that the president is going to find some way to make this happen. But he said that we want to dismantle all major nuclear facilities. That has not happened. The end of uranium enrichment on the soil, they're still enriching. The transfer of the enriched uranium stockpiles out of Iran, that hasn't happened. The acceptance of intrusive international inspections, they're still not willing to do that. And they have not suspended their ballistic missiles program. They're still firing them off to stop the production of the long-range missiles. That's just a few of them on the president's proposal. The question is the president using this 2 weeks to give our soldiers a break, a rest, to see if we can get this ultimately done? We'll see.
Even Fox is like, is this just us regrouping right now? Because clearly we have not reached any of the objectives of this war.
Is this giving us ourselves 2 weeks to try to figure out how we
flatten the curve?
How we figure out how to get out of this mess, because there is no clear path to victory unless we happen to drop nukes on Iran. I mean, what else? That's the thing about a country like Iran that was not thought of. A country of 92 million people. A government set up in which they have multiple successors to take over within the regime that can keep the regime going. So now that's been figured out, and they're probably scratching their heads being like, oh, wow, this isn't as easy as Israel said it was going to be. What do we do now?
Yeah. I think Trump, I think he wants it to be over with. They're going to have to find a way to portray this as a victory of some sort. That's going to be the toughest thing, because right now, we might get the Strait open, which, by the way, it's not open yet. Still not happening. Iran has said one of the points in their plan was that Israel has to stop hitting Lebanon, which they've opened up this whole new major war against Lebanon and displaced like 1 million people so far and killed a ton of people. Israel opened up this morning with some of the biggest attacks they've had so far. The typical thing, like you saw after the ceasefire of the 12-day war, immediately Israel just sent like everything they had. They're like, all right, one last shot. We're going to get a slap on the wrist for this, but we're going to hit them as much as we can. Israel just totally opened up on Lebanon after the ceasefire was agreed to, and the 10-point plan is supposed to be used as a basis for at least the next 2 weeks. And part of that says that they will also cease fire in Lebanon. And they so far are not
But didn't Israel,
doing that.
Didn't Israel come out and say, like, hey, we're not going to stop hitting Lebanon. We're going to keep bombing Hezbollah.
They have, like, that's the thing. This hasn't, I don't even see that it's been fully agreed to by our side yet. And so,
Interesting.
yeah. And last night also, it could be some retaliation because after the ceasefire, Israel's still getting hit by missiles from Iran.
Want the mic again. Mike, what are we seeing there?
Well, Jesse, as anticipated, the sirens are now wailing over Tel Aviv, indicating that another missile is inbound. And it looks like those bright lights in the sky are the missiles. And it looks like you can see an interceptor that is in hot pursuit of the missiles. And
anyway, point being of this video, which we don't have to play the whole 2 minutes of, they were still getting hit. Now, that can be Iran not adhering to the ceasefire, which is what all certain groups of people online will say it is. Or it could be the fact that we have greatly hindered their ability to communicate with one another. And even though a ceasefire was agreed to an hour and a half ago, not everyone in this massive country that has control over any munitions is aware that there is a ceasefire, and they're going on the orders that they had already, which is to launch a massive barrage of missiles at precisely 8 p.m. Eastern time, which is when we were supposed to be hitting them. So launch everything you can before we're all dead or something like that. And so that could easily be what some of the people were doing. That's one thing. Let's see. We know Mark Levin is upset.
Could you imagine, by the way, just like seeing missiles appear in the sky?
I know.
Like here in the United States, we have no idea what this is like.
No.
That would just be absolutely wild.
That's just a crazy thing for us. When's the last time the United States actually fought for its homeland? I mean, legitimately fought for its homeland.
Not for 9/11s.
No. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Not for that. Is that a thing? It's been quite a bit, huh?
War of 1812.
Yeah, I don't think anyone remembers that.
Was it the Battle of the Alamo?
I don't. Nobody knows.
Down
I'll
in
have to
San
crack open a
Antonio?
history book for that one. Okay, here's Mark Levin. He's upset.
We're not doing regime change. Everybody says no regime change. Okay. Then the regime survives in one form or another. The fundamentals survive. And so the question is, how do we keep this enemy, this poison, this cancer, these Islamist radicals, 7th century barbarians, how do we keep them in a box? And that's what we have to figure out. If we're not going to completely take them out because of the huge isolationist strain in the Democrat Party, among the woke right, but again, MAGA, the Republicans are behind the president. But if we can't do it because of the political wins, if we can't do it because of other reasons, then how are we going to keep them in a box? It can't be just peace in our time. We have a 10-point deal and they've agreed to this. I just think it's going to be very, very complicated, very, very difficult. And I would say this to the President of the United States. I personally know that you will do the right thing, that you're going to try and make sure that it works for now and forever. And so I have complete faith in this man because he's brought us to this point where he's blown out their nuclear systems, where he's taking out or trying to take out all the enrichment, where he is not taking them at their word, where he has used our military in one of the most brilliant, spectacular military campaigns in American history. I'm glad he's there as President of the United States. There's some very complicated and difficult issues on the table. And I think if anyone can handle it, he can handle it. But this enemy, make no mistake, they're the enemy. They're not going to go away if there's not regime change. And we're going to have to figure out, and it's not going to be easy, how to keep our foot on their throat. It's not going to be easy, especially since we change administrations typically every 4 or 8 years. That's it. I'm done. I pray for the president and our troops. I pray for the people in the Middle East. I pray for the people of Persia, and I pray this enemy drops dead.
That's a very interesting outro there.
Yeah.
You see how he calls them 7th century barbarians? So
Yeah.
that labels them as not human, by the way, so we can, obviously kill them. Even though he prays for them, so he prays for Persia, but then he wants them dead. That's interesting. The other part that he flip-flops on in this video specifically is that MAGA and America firsters are behind Trump. It's like, no, MAGA flipped. The MAGA, like the people who are America first, never wanted a war with Iran. And you've now somehow flipped the deep state, the neocons, the people who have been, arguing for all of these wars for the last 30 plus years, have somehow taken over MAGA and wear the crown of MAGA and talk about how all the people who voted for Trump, who wanted nothing to do with any of these wars and agreed with Trump on the campaign that going to the Middle East was a mistake, somehow those are now woke right people. What?
Well, you're getting one thing wrong there, which is that you're assuming that MAGA has a thing that they want or don't want. MAGA wants and doesn't want whatever Trump tells them they want or don't want. So don't like ascribe to them a certain principle or idea for the world.
Do whatever you tell me to, Donald Trump.
They want whatever Trump says they want, and they agree with whatever Trump says they agree with.
And it's not a cult.
And it's no. Come on, don't be ridiculous. That's crazy. All right, what else? We've got, Israel still hitting Lebanon, and we've got, according to this page with no community note right now, strikes hitting Iranian oil refinery. Strikes hitting Iranian oil refinery on Lavon Island today. Iran is now retaliating with strikes on targets in Kuwait, Bahrain, and the UAE. And this was posted at 5:30 a.m. our time, so 4.5 hours ago, our time. And then we've got from the Kobayashi letter says Saudi Arabia's east-west oil pipeline carrying 7 million barrels per day of crude oil from the Gulf to the Red Sea has been attacked. Details include the pipeline was reportedly struck by a drone and damage is being assessed. The attack on the vital infrastructure comes hours after Iran and the U.S. agreed to a ceasefire deal on Tuesday evening. So it's like, man, I hope this holds up. And after the 12-day war,
it doesn't seem like there's a ceasefire.
It doesn't yet. I think the first day of a ceasefire is always a little confusing.
People are getting their accidental missile launches off.
Like, oh, I forgot I had that one on a timer.
Yeah.
Dang it.
That drone took off.
I forgot I set my missiles last night before I went to bed, And then the stuff with Iran, not that they're like this great moral actor or anything, but you can easily excuse and say, well, they're literally communicating via messengers on foot. Some of these people are.
Yeah.
So like
by pigeons.
And they've been told that there was going to be this massive attack on them last night. And I'm sure messages on foot went out to many different little military groups saying, let it all go. Hit the oil. We said we were going to hit oil infrastructure once they hit all of our power plants and bridges and stuff like that. And those people aren't scrolling X right now, finding out that Trump posted on Truth Social about a ceasefire.
They were like Moses, let my missiles go.
Yes. And so this is a very delicate time. I don't think, how do you phrase that? I don't have high hopes that this is going to hold up. Just using the Iranians' 10-point plan as the basis right now, I don't have high hopes that is going to happen. Of course, that depends on what kind of negotiation they're doing. Are these like an ironclad? These are their firm points, and they're not going to back down on any of them? Or is this a negotiation kickoff from their standpoint, and they will give in on many of the things, or they'll take a compromise to 50% on all of them, something like that. So it's all going to be whether or not they're willing to give in on some of those things, whether or not Israel is willing to stop killing people in various countries. We have no idea. And whether or not Trump and this administration can find a way to pull victory from the jaws of obvious defeat right now. I hope that they can, because I don't want this war to continue. When I talk about this war and when Charlie talks about this war, we're serious about it. We're not doing this for clicks, not doing it for comments on YouTube. We're not trying to be sensational.
It will be a success for liberty if we do not send boots on the ground.
For sure.
That would be, I would measure that as a success, since obviously we can't go back and take the bombs back. They've already exploded.
They blew up. Yeah.
So ideally, we would have never initiated the attack, but you can still be hopeful that certain things can happen. I do think that this obviously makes the future worse. It doesn't make the Middle East any more safe. It doesn't make America or Israel any more safe.
Dude, just look at, we've killed well over 1,000 civilians in Iran, a bunch of leaders. We killed their Ayatollah.
Which is like their Pope.
It's like killing the Pope for a large group of people. Israel is just laying waste to Beirut right now and killing a ton of people. Of course, there's Hezbollah hiding underneath the daycare centers, and so they had to blow them up.
In Lebanon.
And so you think there's not going to be any repercussions? Do you actually think that you're going to blow up all these places and there will be less terrorists or people who hate you as a result of that? Like, that's the simple calculation. I got in arguments with people yesterday. They're like, oh, that means we can't go after bad people because sometimes when we go after bad people, more bad people come and do bad things. I'm like, no, it means you shouldn't like actively make the situation worse. And every time you do this, you are literally just making the situation worse. And so can you not do that simple calculation that if to kill this one person, you create 10 more like them? You're like, well, we'll kill those. Well, every one of those you kill, you create 10 more like them. And then from
not just like them, worse than them.
And then from one bad person, all of a sudden there's 1,000 people who hate you.
And the greatest example that we have recently is we obviously took down Saddam Hussein, bad person. Okay. And then Iraq was taken over by ISIS.
Not good.
And then we had to fund Al-Qaeda to fight ISIS.
Oh, now we got like Al-Qaeda running Syria. Like, that's,
and now,
not officially Al-Qaeda, but former.
That's the craziest thing.
Changed their name.
We got to go. If you guys enjoyed it, share it around. Leave us a comment on YouTube, like Nate said at the beginning of the show. We appreciate that. If you want to be involved in the Fed Haters Club, then go to joingml.com, be part of the action. Leave us comments inside. We have great conversations in pre-show, so you get access to that, joingml.com. If you want to spend some money on the sponsors, you get something, we get something. You can visit those by going to the links in the show notes to support the sponsors that support this show. If you do all of that, we'll be back again tomorrow, I believe. Until then, I hope you have a good day and a good morning, Liberty.